Excuse me. So, with St. Patrick's Day being a little over a week away, I figured it's time to start reviewing the Leprechaun film, starting off with the very first movie, Leprechaun 4 in space. So here's what happens. He goes to space, right, and he explodes, and that's how it ends. Now you gotta start with the first Leprechaun movie, which is Leprechaun Origins. Because it's got origins in the movie. Leprechaun Returns. Okay, it's Leprechaun, alright? Came out in 1993. Stars Jennifer Aniston before Friends even happened, because Friends started in 1994, and this is 1993, so it's before Friends happened. And it also had Zach Morris's dad from Saved by the Bell. And this was like the same year Saved by the Bell ended, and they had that spin-offs and stuff. But yeah, just Mark Holton, who was also in Teen Wolf, and Teen Wolf 2 is Chubbs. The only character to be in both films, played by the same actor in both films. Styles is in the second one, but it's not really. Anyway, so yeah, Leprechaun. So the story goes, this man named Mr. O'Grady, he finds a leprechaun and his gold, and he keeps the leprechaun in a crate. The leprechaun gets out, the leprechaun kills the guy's wife, and then wants his gold back, but O'Grady is able to subdue him, put him in a crate, cover it in gasoline. The weakness in this film is different in each film. 4-leaf clover, puts it on top of the crate so it can't get out, starts to put gasoline on it, but then suffers a stroke and is unable to do anything about it. Years later, in 1993, Toya Redding and her father, Mr. Redding, Mr. Morris, they have bought this house that used to belong to the O'Grady's, and so the dad has hired 3 guys to paint. One of them is Ozzy, and they got this little kid, and this other guy looks like an older version of this kid. Jim Carrey Bacon, whatever it was. But Jim Carrey Bacon. I don't know. But, and Ozzy accidentally releases the Leprechaun when Leprechaun pretends to be a little girl, and Leprechaun gets free. Now, this was 1993. So all the effects in this are practical. You don't get many kills in this, to be honest. You get Mr. O'Grady, O'Grady's wife, a couple cops. That's about it. None of the main characters actually die, so it's not one of those movies where you have this one thing come in and he kills off each character one by one. It's not like that. It actually, you could say that maybe that's a thumbs down on it, but to me, you don't need to have, these characters aren't bad characters. They're not these characters where you want to see them die. Sure, Jennifer Aniston is a stuck-up person who only cares about herself, and her character is a very stuck-up person who only cares about herself. But I think her character changes along the way, by the end of it, and so Ozzy and the kid, they find the gold, right? And Ozzy, trying to test to make sure if it was real gold or chocolate, swallows one of the coins. So when they go into town, they go to a pawn shop and they have it appraised. They find out it's real, which, he swallowed it, so that, and Leprechaun goes on a tear trying to get it. Eventually, they find out that Mr. O'Grady is still alive. The dad, Mr. Morris, he's taken out halfway through the film when he gets, fingers bitten off. We never see him again for the rest of the film. And maybe they just didn't have him for the rest of the filming. I don't know, but we don't see him again. He's not dead. He doesn't die. You just don't see him again for the rest of the film. And then They find out that Mr. O'Grady is still alive and in a old folks home, and Tori is able to get out of there to go see him, but somehow the Leprechaun has gotten there before she can to pretend to be O'Grady, and then she finds O'Grady near death inside of a elevator, and he tells her a 4-leaf clover is the only way to defeat him. So she goes back to the farm. She's looking for 4-leaf clover. She can't find one. And I was like, you gotta believe that there is a 4-leaf clover. You gotta believe, soldier. It doesn't say soldier, I'm just saying, you gotta believe there is a 4-leaf clover. She's like, okay, I'm Jennifer Aniston, give me magic powers. And she gets one, and she gives it to the kid, and the kid tests it to a rock, and he's like, fuck you, Lucky Charms, and shoots it into the Leprechaun's mouth. The only problem with this is, I don't know what the deal was, but like, when the Leprechaun is going through the pantry, there's a box of cereal that's called Lucky Clovers. Which means, obviously, Lucky Charms didn't want anything to do with this film. It's called Lucky Clovers. But the fact the kid's allowed to say, fuck you, Lucky Charms. So, shoots the Leprechaun. Leprechaun falls in the well. Eventually, they blow up the well, and he's dead. And it ends. Yeah. I think the best part of any of these films, really, is Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun. To me, he's always the best part. The first one's never my favorite. I actually prefer the second one, to be honest with you, because I think the characters are a little better written. Whereas in this one, the only kid I really like is Ozzy. And the kid. Ozzy and the kid are the only characters I really like besides the Leprechaun. But the only protagonists I like in this are Ozzy and the kid, because they're the only ones that aren't really, the dad's whatever. He just doesn't do much. And you got the Jim Carrey Bacon guy, the other guy who's never went anywhere. Whatever, I don't know. But he doesn't do much, and he's getting hit on by beautiful hot Jennifer Aniston, and he's kind of ignoring her advances mostly until like towards the end, maybe. And for all we know, he's the dad of the girl in Leprechaun Returns. I guess. I don't know. And Jennifer Aniston is, of course, playing herself. To be honest with you. And, yeah. Yeah, I was like Ozzy and a kid. And I'm glad Ozzy came back for Returns, even though I don't like what they do with this character, but it was to be expected. Returns will be in here a long way down the road. We got a long journey to go, because I've never really been able to make it past 4. And even 4 is a rough watch for me. To the point where usually on St. Patrick's Day, I only watch the first 3. I don't even try to go any further than that. This year, if I have time, it'll be 1 through 3 in Returns. Because I can't even... 4 is so schlocky, where like he's in space. And most in-space movies, like Jason X, is a masterpiece compared to Leprechaun 4. I'm just saying. But, yeah, we got a long road to go with these. The first 3 films I generally like. I like all the first 3 films. I think they're great. And even especially the third one, because the main character's name is Scott. I'm just saying. So for Leprechaun, the first Leprechaun, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Unsurprisingly, I don't think these are gonna get very high marks. Did I say 7? 8. Give it an 8. 8 out of 10. Not bad. It's 8 out of 10 for me for Leprechaun. What are your thoughts on Leprechaun? Leave them in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll be seeing you in the next one.